one name, one very easily achieves these transcendental riches. And this is Lord Chaitanya himself to Sanatana Goswami. Of the 9 processes of devotional service, the most important is to always chant the holy name of the Lord. If one does so, avoiding the 10 kinds of offences, one very easily obtains the most valuable love of Godhead. Yes. By chanting the holy name of the Lord, one can directly associate with the Supreme Lord by sound vibration. As one practices the sound vibration, he passes through 3 stages of development: the offensive stage, the clearing stage, and the transcendental stage.
Wow.
In the offensive stage, one may desire all kinds of material happiness, but in the second stage, one becomes clear of all material contamination. When one is situated on the transcendental stage, he attains the most coveted position, the stage of loving God. Lord Chaitanya taught that this is the highest stage of perfection for human beings. By chanting the holy name of the Lord, one dissolves his entanglement in material activities. After this, one becomes very attracted to Krishna, and thus dormant love for Krishna is awakened. So there's a few things in that particular verse. By chanting the holy name of the Lord, one dissolves his entanglement in material activities. So you will lose taste for material life. The things that used to bring you pleasure, once you start chanting Hare Krishna, you lose taste and pleasure for them. So sometimes some Hindus, they say, don't worship Krishna. Because he takes away everything. Hari means the person who takes away. So he takes away everything. So don't go to that blue boy. You start worshipping that blue boy, and then he takes away everything, and then you can't enjoy the world anymore because you had no taste for it.
Yeah.
So by chanting the holy name of the Lord, one dissolves his entanglement in the material activities. Once you've lost that entanglement, then you become attracted to Krishna, and thus the dormant love. It's always described as a dormant love. What does that mean? It means that it's already there in your heart. You already have a blissful, unconditional, loving relationship with Krishna. It's already there. But you're not experiencing it because we have material entanglements and we have material desires. So by chanting his name, those material desires and entanglements are dissolved, and then attraction to Krishna comes, and then that dormant love is reawakened. So that's the idea of always chanting, is that actually it's you're associating with the Lord by chanting, and by doing that, all the dirty things, the material desires that are in your heart that are stopping you actually having a fully blissful life are dissolved, and so then your actual real self, your real nature of your soul can shine. Because what your Sanatan Dham, your eternal nature, is to be a loving servant of Krishna. That is, water is wet, fire is hot. You can't take those things away. You can't get dry water. You can't get cold fire. So you can't get the living being. Its very nature, its core essence, is to be an eternal loving servant of Krishna. That's who we are. That's what we are. But we forget. We forget that, and we think that we're here to enjoy, or we're here to control. We're here to exploit this world in some way, gross or subtle. So we don't experience that bliss. So by chanting the holy name of the Lord, one dissolves his entanglement in material activities. After this, one becomes very attracted to Krishna, and thus dormant love for Krishna is awakened. So this weekly Kirtan that we've been holding is for that purpose, for people to get together and chant Hare Krishna and experience a little bit of dissolving of material consciousness and re-establishing, reawakening the dormant Krishna consciousness. It's a matter of consciousness. What you're aware of is what consciousness is. What are you? What's your reality? So Krishna consciousness means you're actually aware of Krishna at every moment. If you're Krishna conscious, you see him everywhere and everything. And so the pure soul that has no material desires and is fully purified, then that's their reality on an everyday basis. They may be sweeping the street, they may be have a job somewhere, but at every moment they're aware and are seeing Krishna in everything. That's Krishna, being Krishna conscious. When we have a different consciousness, people have money conscious, they have woman conscious, and man conscious, they have health conscious. So this is what you're thinking about. This is what your awareness is. How you see the world as your consciousness. So the scriptures and the Vedas and the wise man, they advise to be Krishna conscious, to be aware of Krishna. And that is the perfection of consciousness. So the chanting of Hare Krishna will actually bring you to that consciousness.
Yes, that's right.
It'll purify the misconceptions, and your consciousness will be fixed in reality. We understand Maya means that which is not. So Maya is illusion. Maya is when you see a mirage. It seems real, but it's not. So many things in this world are like that. And as you get older, you realise that your life is a little bit like that. It's there, and it's gone. So did it really happen? 100 years from now, nobody cares, nobody knows, nobody remembers us. So it's an illusion. Things are so important and so real at the time, but it quickly fades. So the reality is that we are eternal living beings, and we have an eternal relationship with God. And the goal of this life and this world is to re-establish that relationship. That's what we're here for. Some people describe the material world as a prison. Some people would describe it as a hospital, and some people describe it as a school.
I've even heard it as a dream.
As a dream, yeah.
Or maybe some movies going on and we are part, and then we just wake up and the movie's finished.
Movie's finished. It's true.
Yeah.
But all those things, the prison, the hospital, the school, and to some degree the movie, they are all there to change the consciousness. The prison to rectify the consciousness.
Yes.
The prison is there because there's some unlawful activity going on and it needs to be rectified.
Yeah.
So this world is like that. We're doing unlawful activities.
Yeah.
Our consciousness is forcing us to do things which are contrary to the laws of nature. So we need to have that rectified. So this is like a prison.
And we
And
getting punishment for that?
Yeah, we suffer. You do. And then it's also like a hospital to rectify.
Yeah.
You're eating the wrong things. You have bad health, so you go to hospital to get well. So this is like this. We're in hospital to get well because our consciousness is not well. And it's also a school. You go to school to learn and to advance your consciousness. So the same way we learn our lessons over time. Sometimes quickly, sometimes over many lifetimes.
When we don't learn, we fail, we come to the same class.
That's right.
Back.
We come to the same issue again and again until
we learn. Yeah.
So this world is perfect in that way. It's perfect in its imperfections. I was having this conversation with someone saying that this world is